I fail so much. Turns out Gabby and Ty were above the Rock Smash Rocks on Route 111, so I can actually do all 3 battles now, and my plans to level up my Lotic aren't derailed that way. Anyway, of course, you've probably seen the starters by now. They have been unveiled via the CoroCoro leak today, and well, there's obviously a consensus like last time, and once again it's something that I can completely get behind. The grass and fire starters, sorry I didn't bother memorizing their names yet, this is gonna come in a matter of days, but the fire and grass starters look actually pretty good. Though the grass starter is supposed to be a snake, and it doesn't look like a snake to me at all. It looks like, well, I don't know what it looks like, but the last thing I would associate this thing to is a freaking snake. And for a fire starter, we got a pig with donkey ears, which is rather cool looking, surprisingly enough. And then there's the water starter. A lot of people were worried about it just from looking at the silhouette. Oh! Got Supersonic on Skarmory here, but I'm not gonna bother healing it with a flute because of that. Yeah, Blaziken just finished off Loudred on its own, so it would have just been a waste of time. But yeah, a lot of people were worried just by looking at the silhouette, and it ended up being justified. This one is clearly the worst looking of the 3, and there aren't many people who disagree with me on that one. We'll be keeping an eye out for you. Well, so do I, because I'm going to beat you 2 more times in the next few minutes. But yeah, when it comes to the water starter, I don't know, it feels like they put Piplup and Bunny-Erie into a blender. Literally, because the result is not so good. It's not the rest of the body as much as the face. I don't know what it is about that face that just says, ugh, ugly, but just rearrange the facial features, change them a little, and you might have had the next Piplup. Instead, it's just meh. But it evolves twice. What can I say? Maybe it's gonna evolve into something cool like Chimchar did. And that's not all. On top of the starters, there are a few more things to come out of CoroCoro, though this is unconfirmed right now, but there are a lot of things that actually checked out compared to what was being said on Japanese forums, so there are pretty good chances that it's for real, especially since Cerebi actually bothered posting those things. There are 2 new moves that have been unveiled, though we don't know the exact mechanics of one of them. And I'm referring to that move that apparently hits the opponent harder the higher its stats are, or something like that. We still don't know if we're talking about stat boosts or raw stats or something like that. But if it is indeed something that has to do with the opponent's base stat total, for example, then it's probably going to be meant as an excellent killer of overused and uber Pokemon. So, of course, you could see this move making a splash in both metagames. Now look as they make it a normal move, killing any usefulness it might have had. And the other move is a move that raises attack and accuracy by 1 level. The name is Claw Sharpen. I actually remembered it this time. And I don't know, an accuracy raising move? Why did it take 14 years to think of that? Well, doesn't really matter. It could be an interesting move, but there's the problem of Swords Dance and Dragon Dance both being better on paper, because a second boost to attack or a boost to speed would do more than a boost to accuracy, especially since to get the most out of that move, it would require you using lower accuracy moves, like, for example, Stone Edge. So yeah, an interesting toys for stuff that doesn't get Swords Dance or Dragon Dance, but otherwise won't be much. Whoa! A critical hit on Exploud and it didn't die? Well, this just goes to show just how strong it is defensively, because Exploud is rather good defensively, lots of HP. And I just got nailed by Supersonic, and this time I'm going to heal it because it was Blaziken that was affected by it, and it's the one that's faster, and I just finished it with a double kick, and this ends the whole Gabby and Ty saga for now. We'll be revisiting these 2 a lot when I get around to leveling up that Milotic of mine, but that's going to be done off camera unless I decided to show you one battle against them as part of a graffiti wall or something like that. So now that this is done, we can move on to the rest of Route 120. Still loads of trainers left to fight there, and there's a little dead end that I'm going to check out here, wonder what's there, and it's a bunch of berries, Asphere berries. I think those are against confusion, I think. No. It defrosts Pokemon. Confusion is the person berry. Sorry, my bad there. Anyway, back to CoroCoro. We were promised Zoroark's ability a few months ago, but for some reason it kept being delayed over and over, and we finally found out about its ability today. It's called Illusion, and what this does is basically it allows it to transform into other Pokemon. So, I don't know exactly how this will work, but my assumption is that it's going to be a passive transform. And let's forget all about Ditto's inherent suck factor and the low stats and everything. Detect on the turn I'm flying up. You just got owned. Now let's hope that it doesn't use Detect again. Nope, because if it used Detect again, it would have had a 50% chance of actually working, and it's slashed by half every time that you use Detect, and I've already mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. Alternating between Detect and Protect doesn't work. They run off the same counter, and so does Endure, by the way. And whoa! We got a Kecleon here. I didn't remember that this was there, but oh well. It's going to be time for another Kecleon genocide. But yeah, when it comes to Illusion, if my hunch is right that it's a passive automatic transform, then it just might kill Zoroark's usefulness. Because you don't want to transform into something that you can't do anything to, and they can't do anything to you in return, because, well, that would be an endless stall fest, and you would try to avoid that. Or maybe they would just switch to something that would kill you or something like that. It's not a good idea, and you don't want to transform into something that you can kill easily either, because they can kill you easily too. This is why, for example, Heatran versus Heatran matchups aren't that popular. And if you're watching this from the far future and my hunch turned out to be wrong, well, I hope it's wrong, then please don't bother telling me, because I will probably know at the same time as you when the games actually come out. And speaking of Zoroark, to remain on that subject, it turns out that they have revealed also how to get Zoroark, and it involves getting either one or all three legendary dogs from the movie 13 event. And I don't know if it's one or all three, because I don't even know how the distribution works, but I would assume that it's just one, because I don't think you're going to be given all three and then the Celebi on top of that. So, and if you're only given one and you need three to get Zoroark, well, let's just say Zoroark isn't going to be a very common Pokemon out there, because seriously, who would lend you their shiny event legendary dog with a special move like Flare Blitz Ante? Hey! But anyway, yeah, I already mentioned it. You have to send the legendary dog or legendary dogs to black or white, and then you'll be able to fight a level 25 Zoroark, which will transform into a Pokemon on your team, presumably one of the legendary dogs or something like that. I don't really know the specifics, and we won't know until the games actually come out. But the thing is that Zoroark needs an event to be accessed, not unlike Manaphy. So that would make Zoroark not the new Lucario, but the new Manaphy instead. Of course, I could be wrong and it turns out to be a non-legendary or something, or maybe those Zoroarks could make Zorua eggs that you could trade away, and then those would evolve into Zoroarks or something like that, so it would be sort of a Lucario with an original way of getting it. I don't know, let's just wait until Black and White come out, because this is all too much of a blur. And with that being said, I'm done for today. Finally, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to, so I'll be seeing you next time as I continue down the path to Lilycoat.